The theories test is used in the United States as well as in the UK. A lot of these things do overlap, so let's go ahead and get into it. Number one, lack of preparation. A lot of times, beginning drivers, whether you're in the learner's phase or you're getting ready to take your road test or your knowledge test, you just don't study. It's human nature to not focus on a key event. We procrastinate. We wait until the last second. I don't want you to wait until the last second to take your theories test. I want you to prepare. I want you to focus. And I really want you to prepare for this test because it takes a lot of work. You can learn through online quizzes. You can learn through some activities that I'm having planned, or I will go over and I'll do some screen share activities. Also, I will go over a lot of questions that tie back to the theories test, whether it's here in the United States or it's in the UK. Many candidates underestimate the amount of studying that is required for the test. The theories test covers a wide variety of topics. These topics include road signs, traffic laws, safety driving practices, such as how do you drive in fog? How do you downshift into a lower gear going downhill? How do you go into a roundabout? You want to yield to traffic already in the roundabout, which is required for preparation. Number two, poor understanding of road signs and rules. From my experience being a state certified driving instructor, beginning drivers confuse stop signs and yield signs. A stop, S-T-O-P, requires non-movement for a minimum of 3 seconds, 1001, 1002, and 1003. You must remain motionless. If you do a rolling stop, this is where you just roll through the stop sign and don't stop. That is grounds for automatic failure, and you will fail your test. So you must come to a complete stop. A significant portion of the test focuses on recognizing road signs and understanding the rules of those road signs. Misinterpreting signs and not knowing specific regulations can lead to incorrect answers on your knowledge test and also incorrect answers on your road driving test. Number three, insufficient practice with hazard perception. A lot of beginning drivers don't understand the actual hazard. Example, driving through a school zone. Little kids think cars are toys or monsters. They'll freeze. You as a beginning driver need to drive at a reduced speed. School zones are often radar enforced. They are video cameras actually watching and monitoring your speed. Yield to stop. If a traffic control person comes out, that's a school crossing guard, they'll have a sign up that says stop. You must stop. If you roll through this sign, you run a risk of striking a child, potential charges of manslaughter, and going to jail, and also failing your test. School zones are some of the most vulnerable zones in the UK as well as in the United States. Also, failing to recognize hazardous times. 2 to 5 p.m. is a very dangerous time for beginning drivers because you have a lot of beginning drivers leaving school, leaving community college, going to work for the first time. They're lost, they're confused, there's pressure, there's anxiety to get where you're going. Hey, if you just joined this, we're talking about the theories test. Whether you're in the United States or whether you're in the UK, these elements will help you prepare for your theories test. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. If you have questions, go ahead and put those in. Next, nervousness and anxiety. I've seen this so many times with a lot of my clients. They're very nervous. Good instructors will not scream at you. They will not yell at you. They will be very patient. A kind instructor will tell you ahead of time, okay, mate, I need you at the second light to make a left turn. They'll repeat instructions. You'll have to downshift into 3 or upshift into 4. If you're in automatic, you'll have to lift your foot off the gas pedal. The automatic transmission will downshift into a 5 or a 4 gear so your car doesn't buck and surge ahead. When you're driving a clutch, you have to let the clutch out slowly or push the clutch in slowly and manually shift. Not that hard, but a lot of people who don't practice have poor clutch control, and you will lose points. Test anxiety can lead to candidates making mistakes or second guessing themselves. Don't second guess yourself. If your instructor tells you to merge into the middle lane, the expectation is when there's a gap or a line, you merge in where you appropriately should. If you ride down the middle of the street, that is grounds for failure or a deduction. It's the same whether you're in the UK or the United States. You don't want to get into the lane too early, and you don't want to get in the lane too late. For beginners, most of the time they get in a little bit early. I'd rather have you get in early than late because you're going to run out of stopping distance, and then you're going to have to slam brakes. You'll lose points, you'll lose clutch control, and the car will buck back and forth, and you won't show your tester that you have true control of the car. Next, misreading questions. When you take the time to look at my content, I'm going to go over actual questions. Why? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I have information that you don't. Thereby, you should be following, you should be subscribing, you should be looking through this test prep to get you ready for your theories test, your driving test, your road test, because I'm going to go over those elements because it's my job of 24 years to help all of you. If you have questions, you need to put those in. Some questions may be tricky. There are tricky questions. For instance, at a roundabout, at a junction, at a roundabout, traffic is already circulating in. You must yield before going in. You have a solid red arrow. What does this mean? This means stop. You have a blinking red arrow. What does this mean? You stop, then when clear, you proceed with caution. Rules differ from country to country, from province to province. It's your responsibility as a driver to do your research. My information will give you a basic ground level understanding because I'm here in the United States. Some of these elements will apply in the UK, some won't. Some will apply in Germany, they won't. Some will apply in India, they won't. But at the end of the day, you're going to learn factual and true information because I'm not going to give you misinformation because I'm a state certified driving instructor and I want you to do your best. Next, overconfidence. A lot of beginners, whether they're going for me for test prep, preparing for the test, going through their actual learning phase, they're overconfident, meaning you're driving with one hand. There's no law against this, but you're going to lose control if you go over a bump, if you have to execute a right turn, turning hand over hand. And in the United States, because I speak on what I know, because I'm in the United States, the National Highway Safety Transportation states that hand over hand when making right turns or parallel parking is the safest and most efficient. In the UK, they do hand to hand, but also their steering wheel is on the right, or my steering wheel, because I'm in the United States, is on the left. We also drive on the right, so it's really important that you understand where am I at, what country am I in, what state am I in, do I have an automatic transmission, do I have a manual transmission. At the end of the day, they're all do the same thing. They shift gears. Overconfidence can lead to mispreparing and ultimately failing. Overconfident drivers are dangerous to me as an instructor. They're dangerous to the passengers, and they're dangerous to the general community. We must look at what is the common good. Next, number 7, lack of knowledge of specific laws. Whether you're in the United States, the UK, the UAE, India, Africa, Australia, it's your responsibility to know the road signs. They're different from where you are in the United States, in the UK, in Australia. People drive around the world. So you need to know those road signs. I have tutorials that are their own road signs. And if you need me to do more, you need to let me know. The theory test often includes questions on specific laws. Same thing in the United States. That may not be common knowledge. So you've got to read that study guide. You got to download that guide from your home country or your state so you are prepared so you can be successful. You need to do more than just take notes. You need to thoroughly review this. You need to understand it. Not being familiar will cause you to get incorrect answers and cause you to fail. It's very stressful signing up for your road test or your theories test. You have to make an appointment. You got to make sure your car's running right. You got to have insurance. But just think of it. You did all this preparation and then you missed 2 road signs. You went the wrong way on a one-way street. Your test is terminated. I don't want that to happen to you. I need you to listen to what I'm saying and apply what I'm saying and take notes. If you have questions, you need to leave comments. Next, not reviewing driving test, a mock test. I do mock driving tests. A lot of people do mock driving tests. Thank you for the thumbs up. In those type of tests, you're going to have an instructor in the car. You will be driving in the passenger seat. Hey, Chief, how are you doing? Hopefully you're enjoying this. Tell me where you're from. Your instructor will prepare you. I'd like you to make a right turn at the light. I need you to get over and reverse parallel park. I need you to downshift to 4. I need you to accelerate shift up to 6 to merge on the expressway. You need to be able to execute these things in a very short time efficiently. Thank you. I do appreciate that. And when you prepare, you will be successful. Practice tests can help candidates use and understand the format. Practice tests can help you by actually going through the maneuverability. Do you know how to turn the wheel hand over hand or hand to hand? Do you know how to parallel park? Do you know what a junction is? Do you know what a union is? Do you know what a one-way is? There are a lot of streets, whether you're in the United States or in the UK or Australia or Brazil, you still need to know what those road signs mean. Ignorance is no excuse. Time management issues. I admit, I do wait to the last second. You need to plan and prepare. On Wednesday, I'm going to take my theories test. I've been studying for the last 2 months. I know the signs. I'm familiar with my car. I've been practicing with my coach. I'm going to go and take the test. You will be nervous. You will be stressed. I have videos of the actual test, and you need to look through my library of knowledge. The theories test is timed, and some candidates may struggle to manage their time effectively, leading to rushed or incomplete answers. Our test in the United States, we have 2 hours. You need to execute 80 questions in 2 hours. What is your time limit in your home country? Next, language barriers. Obviously, I speak English. I'm learning a little bit of Portuguese because I have a client that is in Brazil. For non-native speakers, language difficulties can lead to misunderstanding of questions or answers, contributing to failure. If you're not sure, you could use Google Translate. Misinterpreting yield signs. You remember I talked about this? Beginning drivers misinterpret yield signs and stop signs, thereby you will fail. A stop, S-T-O-P, you stop for a minimum of 3 seconds. You look left, you look right. If clear, you push the clutch in, you shift to 1, you gradually lift the clutch off, you gradually accelerate. If you're in an automatic, your foot goes off the brake, the computer will shift the transmission down to 1, and in some cases, if you have a larger vehicle, it may default to 2 or 3 to get that heavy truck or car moving. Some drivers may be confused by yield signs and inverted triangle. So you need to know the shape and color of signs. I do go over that, and if you want me to go over that and give you a tutorial, let me know, and I will go over that for you. Example, failing to yield at a junction where the yield sign is present. You need to know where the yield sign is present. And consider the yield sign like looking at you. Hey, I'm yielding. Hey, this is a stop sign. You, as a driver, need to understand those questions, those signs, and apply that in your theories test where you're taking the actual book test, and then apply it when you're driving, because here in the United States, we have a knowledge test that you must pass, and we have an actual driving test that you must master. So the things are very similar. Let me keep going. If you have questions, put them in. Confused between no entry and one way. It doesn't matter whether you're in the UK or in the United States. You need to know what these signs mean. Mr. Understanding the difference between a no entry sign, a red circle with the white horizontal sign, and a sign that also tells you that there's a one way. This can lead to an incorrect answer, also a failure on your test. So we want to make sure that you are getting everything you need by listening to this. I need more people to ask questions. Let's continue. Not recognizing school zone signs. You as a beginning driver, if you're dropping off your son or daughter or sibling, you've got to reduce your speed. School zones are radar monitored. They have security cameras. Typically, the speed zones could be 20 miles an hour. They could be 15. Drive slow. Have your head on the swivel. Look left, middle, and right for little kids. Crossing, not recognizing school zone signs. School zone signs are yellow pentagon with a figure of children, indicating reduced speed limits. I talked about that. Thank you. You have a good day too. I really appreciate you. Don't forget to sub, like, do all these things, because I'm talking more about the theories test. I'm talking about the actual test, getting through to the essence. I have a lot of information to cover. Leave some comments, leave some likes, watch the video through. Some drivers might not be familiar with these signs. Example, answering a question about speed limit signs in the school zone incorrectly due to not recognizing the sign. Okay, you will have that pentagon sign, two people walking, and I want you to do your best work. I want you to learn everything you can by asking questions. By me being a state certified driving instructor in the United States, in the Midwest, I'm going to give you best practice, current information to help you pass your test, because you deserve to live your best life and you deserve to get your license as soon as possible. It takes 10 years to fully understand all the driving elements, whether you're in the UK, Australia, UAE, or the United States. At around 16 or 17, most Americans start taking their test, and around 16 and a half or 17, thank you very much, they prepare for the test. And if you're 16, that's 26. If you're 17, that's 27. If you're in the UK, 21, that's 31. So you can see the difference. Around 24 years old, based on clinical research, the brain matures. From your brain is growing, your body is growing. Let's continue. Misunderstanding speed limit signs. Speed limit signs, they are white with black numbers, can be misinterpreted, especially in areas where there are variable speed limits, school zones, business districts, residential areas. In residential areas in the United States, 25 miles an hour. I would drive about 20. You want to make sure kids see you, cars, buses, people backing out of the driveway. Next, misunderstanding the not overtake sign. The not overtaking sign is a red circle with two cars. It is often confused with other signs, leading to errors in related questions. Example, and I'm giving you an example. Failing to identify when overtaking is prohibited, especially the questions on rural or hilly areas. We go through the same thing. You can't pass on a curve. Why? You can't see cars around the curve. So you as a driver must slow down. You must be aware. Only pass when it's safe, it's legal. Look at the pavement markers. If you have a solid yellow line, you cannot pass. If you have a broken yellow line on your side and you can see and it's safe, you can execute that maneuver. Confusion on stop signs and giving the right of way. This is very common in the UK, in the United States, in India, Africa, Germany. Pause for a second. The car on the right has the right of way. If two cars come together at the same time, the car on the right. This is one of the most confusing questions that I get. Who has the right of way? The first car to get there, you push in the clutch, you stop, you look left, you look right, you push the gas pedal, make sure the car's in first gear, you lift your foot off, you accelerate. The car should not be bucking and surging. If you're in an automatic, you take your foot off, the car will shift back to the lowest gear. We have computer controls. If you're in a heavier vehicle, it's going to put it in 2 or 3 to get more torque. If you're in a smaller, lightweight vehicle, it's going to be in 1. Okay. Great day from Australia. Hey, Australia, I love it. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I love my people from Australia. I had a client about 7 years ago go to Australia. Thank you. I really appreciate the loving comments. It means so much. So we have Australia here. We have the UK here. I'm from the United States. Please shout out your country. I really appreciate you sharing. That means so much. And of course, Australia, they drive right on the left. Next, confusion about stop signs, yield the right of way. These are some of the things I've talked about. I've driven a manual before. It was a Volkswagen Bug. One of the clients at the YMCA allowed me to use it. I had to learn how to shift, but I got through. I had terrible clutch control in the beginning, but after all, I learned how to accelerate and shift gears. Next, not recognizing hazardous warning signs. Let's continue this. Triangle warning signs, sharp bend ahead, slippery road, might not be familiar. Example, missing a question on how to handle sharp bends. You as a beginning driver, it's your responsibility to look at that road sign. You will have anxiety. You will be stressed. There'll be an instructor who will have a clipboard. They'll be sitting by you. I need you to go around the bend. Am I in too fast of a gear? Am I too slow? Will I stall the car out? When you have a manual, you need to make a judgment. Are my RPMs up too high? Are my RPMs too low? Will I lug the motor down? Will I over rev it? Will I lose control? In a automatic, the car will downshift from say 6 to 4. So you still have to make adjustments whether you have an automatic or a manual. Next, not recognizing prohibited parking, whether you're in the UK, Australia, the United States, Africa, UAE. Hey, can a brother get a second thumbs up? I'm trying to give you real life information. If you're getting value, give this a thumbs up. Give it a thumbs up. I want to continue. So not recognizing prohibited parking zones. Here in the United States, handicap signs are blue and white with a handicap symbol on the sign and also a handicap symbol in that parking spot with blue writing and blue lines. You as a able-bodied driver should not be parking in that spot. You can get your car towed. You will get a $250 ticket. So you want to really make sure you should be parking away from the door, parking and securing your car. If you're in a manual, you want to make sure it's in park. You want to pull up that park brake, push that park brake down, secure your vehicle, get all your valuables out, put it in your purse or your bag or your backpack, put it over your shoulder, lock your door. Remember, what aisle am I in? Am I in aisle 13, 27, 45? Because people, thank you for the thumbs up, people do forget. And you should park your car. Guys, you should park your car. I want to say thank you. If you enjoyed this, let me know. I will go through more of the theories tests and the driving tests later. Bye.